Hey guys, welcome back to The Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check out the episode today. And guys, today we're going to be talking about a summer bait that I just love to fish that you don't ever hardly hear anything about, and that is a 4-inch Megabass spark shad with this core tackle tush head on it. Now, we've done some stuff on this type of rig before on the different sizes of the spark shad, but this particular one, guys, is deadly in the summertime of the year. I'm gonna give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish it and the type of situations it works best in today's episode. And also, guys, I'll link this stuff. I will link the Megabass spark shad in my tackle warehouse link in this video description, and I'll also link the core tackle tush head in the video description in my tackle warehouse link. These are the only two things you need for this setup. You guys will absolutely love them. Like I said, you can get them at Tackle Warehouse. And also, guys, real quick, you've heard me talking about this, but the next time you guys are ready to buy a bait cast reel, just consider this Cast King ALTI Elite bait cast reel, guys. This thing is under $200 with a discount from my promo code. You use the promo code Randy10, you get an additional discount. It's the only bait cast reel I have ever used that you can actually cast without thumbing it and not get a backlash because of this Halo Vortex braking system. All titanium spool, light, built for stout, 11 ball bearings. I'll have the Cast King link in the description of this video, and just go to that link that I put in the video description, click on the reel part of it, and you can see the ALTI bait cast reel. You guys will absolutely love this thing. Such a great reel to fish with. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about the setup. 4-inch Megabass spark shad tush head on it, 4-inch. Now, the spark shad comes in several different sizes. It comes in a 3-inch, it comes in a 4-inch, comes in a 5-inch, and a 7-inch. A lot of different sizes with this thing. And they all work in different situations. That little 3-inch is just a really good finesse swim bait for like a little jig head on it. But this particular setup here with this tush head, I want to talk about how I like to fish it, in the summertime of the year. Easy to catch fish on it. First of all, like I said, get you a tush head. They come in different sizes and different weights in here. It just depends on the hook size you prefer. How you rig this tush head. And the thing that's cool about this tush head, guys, is it's got lead that comes down the shank here. So most jig heads, when you rig a swim bait like this, they have the jig head on the head, which makes the swim bait drop vertical like that. But since you've got the weight on the shank here, it makes the swim bait fall at more of an angle like that, which is really appealing to the fish. So just come through, thread it like you would just a normal jig head. Really important to come through the center, guys, as much as you can. Push that lead all the way up through it. And you see, you don't have any head showing. It's just like all you have is the swim bait and the hook. Nice clean look here, nice clean presentation. Guys, they will gobble that thing up right there. Now, for the setup I'm talking about, I'm fishing this usually on 15-pound test, Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon line, some type of the 7-foot 3-inch. I use the Megabass Perfect pitch rod. That's my setup for 15-pound test fluorocarbon in this situation. One thing I'll do for you, let me get in the video here. I want to show you one little trick that has helped me catch a lot more fish. Get you a chartreuse marker, guys, just a chartreuse marking pen. You can get this through that Tackle Warehouse link I put in there. One thing I've noticed that helps is on these spark shads, they're laminated on the top here, and you can see a little bit of a color differentiation. Just take that chartreuse and just mark it right along that color differential like that. Puts a little color in it. And then take and just put just a little bit of puff on the tail. You don't want a whole lot, just something that adds a little bit of color to it. This shad one's one of my favorites. They all work, but this is one of my favorites. And you can see you got just a little bit of color. It's not much, it's very subtle, but sometimes like that little bit of color in there helps out with it. Okay, now let's talk about specifically what you want to look for in the summertime of the year with this thing. This thing is so easy to fish and catch fish on. You guys probably heard me talking a lot about it. Summertime type fishing I like to do. One of my favorite structures to fish in the summertime of the year, and they are all year long, but especially this time of year with this technique, is flatter main lake points. So what I like to do is I like to get on the lake and I like to search for those points that have, a flatter drop to them. The ideal situation, this is the perfect point. If you can find a main lake point that is rounded, it doesn't have to be real defined, just some type of a rounded main lake point, where let's say, for example, your boat is in, 20 foot of water and you can barely hit the bank on a long cast, maybe like a you know, a 30 or 40 yard cast, you could hit the bank, but you're in about 20 foot of water. That is like sort of the perfect slope. So what I'm concentrating in is I want to put my boat in the depth range that is right above the thermocline. In the summertime of the year, July and August, most of the thermoclines are down to like 25 or 30 feet. So I'll usually try to get my boat positioned in about, 20, 25 foot or something like that. I take the spark shad out there, I throw it out all over the point, count it down to the bottom, and just slowly reel it in. And I want to keep the thing almost right on the bottom. It's like I want to reel it where it's not dragging the bottom, like you're not feeling it bounce along the bottom like a football head jig. It's on the bottom, but you're slow cranking it, and maybe you feel it hitting the bottom and then you feel it leaving the bottom. That's what you want. But if you lose contact with the bottom for over about 5 feet or so, let it fall back down and hit the bottom and start reeling again. So you're wanting to keep the swim bait about 6 or 8 inches off the bottom in this particular situation. And like I said, I'll cast everywhere out there. I'll put my boat in 20, 25 foot of water. I'll cast up in 5 feet of water and work it back, slow it down, work it back. I'll cast across the point. I'll cast into 15 or 20 foot of water, and I'm just trying to saturate as many different depth zones as I possibly can on those points with that spark shad. Because what you're gonna find in those summertime areas, bass, they use a lot of a point. In other words, you can have one main lake point, say this is a good main lake point. You may have some bass up there on the bottom in 5 feet, then you may have some bass on the bottom in 15 or 20 foot. You may have some bass suspended out over 30 or 40 foot, 10 foot down behind you. Those bass use those points in the summertime as highways going back and forth because they're prime feeding places. They'll pull out deeper a lot of times during the daytime of the day, and then at night they move up to the point to feed, and they're just moving back and forth, and they're in different depth zones. So that's why I like to fan cast. So I'll pull up to one point, I'll make probably, 30 or 40 casts with the spark shad, then crank up and move to the next point. And when you're reeling it, most of the time the bite, you're gonna have 2 different types of bites. You're gonna be reeling it along, and all of a sudden it just gets heavy. You don't feel anything. The bait just gets heavy, and one has sucked it in from behind, and the other is a lot of times if they're a little bit more aggressive, they will actually inhale it very aggressively, and you'll see your line tick like that. But most of the time, you're just reeling it, and then you feel like you lose contact a little bit, and that's because they got it in their mouth. But it's a great way to catch them this time of year. That's the main thing, guys. It's easy, just fishing points. Basic 101 stuff. You don't have to concentrate on any drop-offs or ledges. It doesn't have to have any cover on it. It can just be a bare point. They just like to hang out on those type of areas this time of year on the bottom. So anyway, guys, give it a try. I think it's going to add up to some good ones for you guys. Again, all those links are in the description. We'll talk later.